Hello, everyone. Today's edition of Shame Stories is going to be similar to yesterday. It's slowing down again. And I just feel like I need to dig a little bit deeper with this one. You know, we hear it all the time, slow down, slow down. And then how often do we listen? You know, a lot of the times when we don't slow down, we get physical manifestations of the lesson that actually make us slow down, right? Whenever you're in pain, you can't keep going. You might have to ask for help. You might have to learn to accept help. So this idea of slowing down and what creates the shame, the difficulty, right? Why are we unable to slow down? Well, there's this belief that if we do, everything will fall apart. And the tricky thing about this belief is that everything isn't going to fall apart, but some things might, you know? And that's why I think so often we strive to pick things up and try and put them where they go and fix everything, you know? Like you see something and you know what might happen, so you fix it. So then something else pops up and you fix that, and then something else pops up and you fix that. And then it's like, at what point does it stop? At what point is it no longer your responsibility? And that's really where the growth is here, is learning what is your responsibility and what is others' responsibility. And when we pick up the responsibility for others, it's doing them a disservice, because it is making it so that they don't get to see the consequences of their actions. You know? So this fear that everything's gonna fall apart. And the thing about it is while you're fearing this, oftentimes you're literally falling apart. Like you're trying so hard to keep everything okay, you know, probably not able to ask for help, probably not able to receive help, because you feel like it's all your responsibility. Why do we do this? It's performing, right? It's pleasing. Our worth is tied to what we do, how productive we are, right? That's another layer of this, is that when we slow down, sometimes we're not really doing something, so we're not being productive, we're not giving. And therefore, if our worth is tied to that, we don't feel worthy. We feel like we're bad. And that right there is where the shame comes in. If everything falls apart because I didn't do this thing that probably somebody else probably should have maybe done, then it's your fault. And that makes you bad, right? Yet the other person who maybe did whatever they did and you didn't clean up their mess, and then they had to suffer their consequences, you're making that your fault. You feel guilty that they had to suffer the consequences of their actions. Does that make sense? I know it's super layered, super dense. I've been thinking a lot about this. Sometimes it's okay to let things fall apart. This is where being okay with destruction really comes in handy. Things fall apart, you know, and sometimes it sucks. That's how people learn sometimes, you know? So allowing yourself to move at your own pace and do things when you're ready to do them. Like an example for me is like housework, right? Dishes. I don't really do a lot of laundry. I'm really blessed in that arena. But sometimes I do, whenever I feel, you know, like, yay, I'm gonna do laundry. Vacuuming. So whenever I'm vacuuming, like, I really love the sound of the stuff going in the vacuum. And I love how it's dirty and then it's not, you know? Like, you can see the difference. So, like, really slowing down whenever I'm doing that and being present with what I'm doing. Same with the dishes. Like, you know, maybe put on a candle, put on some music, feel the water, be grateful for the dishwasher or the washing machine. If it's laundry, you can feel the warmth of the clothes. Be glad that you don't have to go get a bunch of water from the creek to, like, scrub it, you know? So it's not to say, like, stop doing your responsibilities, you know? Cleaning up after yourself, taking care of who you're responsible for. Those are all, you know, they're your responsibilities. If you don't do them, you're going to face consequences, right? What I'm talking about is, what are you loading onto yourself that should be somebody else's responsibility that you are taking on, burning yourself out, allowing yourself to fall apart? What happens when you fall apart and you can't do it anymore? They're going to have to face the consequences eventually. So to move to a place of support throughout the process, you know, maybe they need help doing whatever it is, and maybe you can help them. Maybe the help is just not taking on the responsibility and letting them, you know, do it. Oh, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Bye.